Have you ever one of those books where you picked it randomly, but you didn't expect it to be good, but then by the time you were done with it, your mind was absolutely blown? Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me with this book. The book I'm going to review is The Pearl Savage by Tamara Blodgett. It's an amazing book, and the best part was, it was free on Amazon. At least when I bought it over Christmas break, it was free. Here's the cover for it. Isn't it pretty? The author of this book she does a brilliant job from the get-go of grabbing your attention. I mean, from the first chapter where it takes place in 1840, all the way up to when it's like something's going down. You don't know what's going down. Someone is nearly dying. There are guardians. Run for your lives. And then it skips forward 140 years, and then you come in with Clara, who's the main character. And just from then, just even the first page introducing Clara, I couldn't put the book down. So, I probably could summarize it, but I would end up going on a tangent. Because I love the book so much, I would just end up adding in everything. So, Amazon's going to help me a little bit, but I will add my own little notes to make it a little bit more interesting. 17-year-old Princess Clara Williamson. They never said her last name in the book. Unless I missed it, but they don't even say it. Lives in an old-fashioned existence in a biosphere of the future. It's true. 1800s and 2030. It's really remarkable how the author managed to combine that setting, but make it sci-fi futuristic. It's pretty cool. When her sadistic mother, Queen Ada, she's not just sadistic, it's a lot worse than just that, betroths her to an abusive prince of the neighboring sphere, Clara is determined to escape outside where savages roam free. Clara escapes tyranny only to discover the savages are not the only people who survived the terrible events of 140 years prior. Once outside, Clara finds herself trapped, unable to return to the abusive life of the sphere while facing certain dangers outside. She's stuck in it. Really does. I mean, it comes to the point where in the sphere her life is threatened, and now outside the sphere she's not safe. So there's really no place for her to go to. And then the last sentence. The last sentence of this summary just kind of always gets me. Can Clara find love and freedom with the pearl that threatens to consume her? It's not going to consume her, it's going to try and kill her first. There's no consuming. She's not looking for love. She's trying to live her life. And we have about 6 main characters, I think. We have Princess Clara, who I read, she's the princess, and she's the one we follow around through the whole book. And you see how much everyone loves her. Because she really, even though she's the princess, she doesn't let it go to her head. And I can say so much more. I'm just going to end this with her. I want her to be our president. I want her. I would vote for her. The second is her mother. Queen Ada, she's not just sadistic. She's an alcoholic. She's a drunk. All she cares about is her wine. If she has her wine, she's good. She's never sober. There's not a moment of where she's absolutely sober. And there's not a moment where you think where she even remotely loves her daughter. Let's just say this. She gets what she deserves at the end of the book. That's all I'm going to say for that. And then you have the prince, who she's supposed to marry, who's from another kingdom. He's horrible. He's not just abusive. He's a monster. I mean, the minute you meet him, you hate him. It's not one of those, you discovered, oh, he's a bad guy. No! Right from the beginning. He's a horrible, horrible, horrible monster. You can't help but hate him. And along the whole journey, I keep waiting for him to die, and he doesn't. He doesn't die in the first book, so maybe in the second book he will. I'm really wishing he is. So those are the 3 royals. Now, for the most interesting part that everyone looks for, the romance. The way the author did this blew my mind. So usually nowadays you see love triangles everywhere you look. Triangles, 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 triangles. Not in this book. We have a freaking square. Or maybe you do have a triangle, but with a tangent at the end. We have Charles, who is Clara's best friend and helps her throughout the book. Then we have Brachus, who's the leader of the band, he's actually part of the Savages, and the band is basically the group of warriors that protects the clan. And then you have Matthew, who has issues. His issues have issues who have issues. I don't know what he did, but he must have kicked like 1,000 puppies and kittens and 8 babies in his past lives, because when you find out what happens to him, it just hurts and explains so much about him. At the same time, it's just, you poor thing. It's horrible. So you have 3 boys, but Charles doesn't really count, because she said, Clara has said right from the get-go, you love me, but I don't love you. I'm sorry. But he just doesn't really get it. But it's still there, so I make it a square. And let's just say, from the preview of the second book, Charles has gone really Twitter-baited. So I hope he stops that real quick, because just from what I read, it's just not good. So one of the things that gives me the giggles about this book that the author did is that of how she did it. Even though, remember how it's futuristic but still old. So we have kingdoms instead of states. So the book takes place in Ohio, but it's not the state of Ohio, it's the kingdom of Ohio. So there's 13 spheres, 13 kingdoms. I'm assuming each of the spheres is one of the original 13 colonies. They haven't explained otherwise. I can't remember my history. I'm very sure Ohio and Kentucky was there, the 13. If not, I'm sorry. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've been in geography, my U.S. history class. So, Clara and Queen Bee is from the Kingdom of Ohio, which deals with pearls and oysters, and Prince Frederick, he's from the Kingdom of Kentucky, and they deal with grapes. And they're forcing the two to get married because the queen wants her wine and the prince wants power. And unfortunately, Clara goes through a whole adventure of trying to escape him and basically just trying to live her life, trying to be her own mistress, and no one will let her. I mean, even at the very end, it just doesn't happen. And it's just, throughout the whole book, you just keep rooting for her, keep hoping that things will get better, keep hoping that she will escape her fate. And then it's just so much. I mean, you have, romance, you have action, there's a huge fight scene, people die, and then you have misunderstanding, and you even find torture in a way. It's not a very fairy tale book. There's lots of dark scenes in it, but it's great, and the author did a wonderful job in presenting it. I recommend, not just because the book is free, but I recommend it because just how amazing it is. I gave it 5 stars, and I bought the second one as soon as I got somewhere that had Wi-Fi, because I read it on my Kindle. But I haven't read the second one yet. That's February, because that's sequels, right? I recommend this. It's, as I said, the author does a brilliant job, and you fall in love with the characters from the get-go. And the whole time, I should say this, in the first book, even though there is romance, it's not really there. It's there a little bit, but it's mainly laying the foundations. So I'm hoping in book 2 we see a lot more of the building relationship between Clara and Brachus, Matthew, and hopefully putting Charles away, because he's being a little brat. So, okay, so this has been my first review. I hope you like it. If it's not that great, let me know. Tell me how to improve, or give tidbits, and I'll see you next time. Bye!